P. Shut. Shut the door. Good John. Fatigued. I said. Tie up the knocker. Say I'm sick. I'm dead. The dog star rages. Nay. 'Tis past a doubt. All Bedlam, or Parnassus, is let out. Fire in each eye, and papers in each hand. They rave, recite, and madden round the land. What walls can guard me? Or what shades can hide? They pierce my thickets. Through my grot they glide. By land, by water, they renew the charge. They stop the chariot, and they board the barge. No place is sacred. Not the church is free. Even Sunday shines no Sabbath day to me. Then from the mint walks forth the man of rhyme. Happy to catch me just at dinner time. Is there a parson, much bemused in beer? A maudlin poetess, a rhyming peer? A clerk, foredoomed his father's soul to cross, who pens our stanza when he should engross? Is there, who, locked from ink and paper, scrawls with desperate charcoal round his darkened walls? All fly to Twitnam, and in humble strain apply to me, to keep them mad or vain. Arthur, whose giddy son neglects the laws, imputes to me, and my damned works the cause. Poor Cornus sees his frantic wife elope, and curses wit, and poetry, and Pope, friend to my life, which did not you prolong. The world had wanted many an idle song. What drop or nostrum can this plague remove? Or which must end me? A fool's wrath or love? A dire dilemma. Either way I'm sped. If foes, they write. If friends, they read me dead. Seized and tied down to judge. How wretched I, who can't be silent, and who will not lie. To laugh were want of goodness and of grace, and to be grave exceeds all power of face. I sit with sad civility, I read with honest anguish, and an aching head, and drop at last, but in unwilling ears, this saving counsel: keep your peace 9 years. 9 years, cries he, who high in Drury Lane, lulled by soft zephyrs through the broken pane, rhymes ere he wakes, and prints before term ends, obliged by hunger, and request of friends. The peace, you think, is incorrect. Why take it? I'm all submission. What you'd have it, make it. 3 things another's modest wishes bound: my friendship, and a prologue, and £10 Pytholian sends to me. You know his grace. I want a patron. Ask him for a place. Pytholian libelled me. But here's a letter informs you. Sir, 'twas when he knew no better. Dare you refuse him? Curl invites to dine. He'll write a journal, or he'll turn divine. Bless me, a packet. 'Tis a stranger sues, a virgin tragedy, an orphan muse. If I dislike it, furies, death, and rage. If I approve, commend it to the stage. There, thank my stars, my whole commission ends. The players and I are, luckily, no friends. Fired that the house reject him. 'Steth, I'll print it, and shame the fools. Your interest, sir, with Lintot. Lintot, dull rogue, will think your price too much. Not, sir, if you revise it, and retouch all my demurs, but double his attacks. At last he whispers, do, and we go snacks. Glad of a quarrel, straight I clap the door. Sir, let me see your works and you no more. 'Tis sung when Midas's ears began to spring. Midas, a sacred person and a king, his very minister who spied them first. Some say his queen was forced to speak, or burst, and is not mine. My friend, a sorer case, when every coxcomb perks them in my face. A. Good friend. Forbear. You deal in dangerous things. I'd never name queens, ministers, or kings. Keep close to ears, and those let asses prick. 'Tis nothing. P. Nothing. If they bite and kick, out with it. Dunciad. Let the secret pass. That secret to each fool, that he's an ass. The truth once told, and wherefore should we lie? The Queen of Midas slept, and so may I. You think this cruel? Take it for a rule. No creature smarts so little as a fool. Let peals of laughter, Codrus, round thee break. Thou unconcerned canst hear the mighty crack. Pit, box, and gallery in convulsions hurled. Thou standest unshook amidst a bursting world. Who shames a scribbler? Break one cobweb through. He spins the slight, self-pleasing thread anew. Destroy his fib or sophistry. In vain. The creature's at his dirty work again, throned in the center of his thin designs, proud of a vast extent of flimsy lines. Whom have I hurt? Has poet yet, or peer, lost the arched eyebrow, or Parnassian sneer? And has not Collie still his lord, and whore, his butchers, Henley, his Freemasons, Moore? Does not one table Bavius still admit? Still to one bishop, Phillips seem a wit, still Sappho, A. Hold, for God's sake, you'll offend. No names, be calm, learn prudence of a rend. I too could write, and I am twice as tall. But foes like these, P. One flatterer's worse than all. Of all mad creatures, if the learned are right, it is the slaver kills, and not the bite. A fool quite angry is quite innocent. Alas, 'tis 10 times worse when they repent. One dedicates in high heroic prose, and ridicules beyond 100 foes. One from all Grub Street will my fame defend, and, more abusive, calls himself my friend. This prints my letters, that expects a bribe, and others roar aloud. Subscribe, subscribe. There are, who to my person pay their court. I cough like Horace, and, though lean, am short. Ammon's great son one shoulder had too high, such Ovid's nose. And, sir, you have an eye, go on. Obliging creatures, make me see all that disgraced my betters. Met in me, say for my comfort, languishing in bed. Just so immortal Maro held his head. And, when I die, be sure you let me know great Homer died 3,000 years ago. Why did I write? What sin to me unknown dipped me in ink? My parents, or my own? As yet a child, nor yet a fool to fame, I lisped in numbers, for the numbers came. I left no calling for this idle trade, no duty broke, no father disobeyed. The muse but served to ease some friend, not wife, to help me through this long disease. My life, 2 Arbuth not thy art and care, and teach the being you preserve to bear. But why then publish? Granville the polite, and knowing Walsh, would tell me I could write. Well-natured Garth inflamed with early praise, and Congreve loved, and Swift endured my lays. The courtly Talbot, Somers, Sheffield read, even mitred Rochester would nod the head, and St. John's self, great Dryden's friends before, with open arms received one poet more. Happy my studies, when by these approved, happier their author, when by these beloved. From these the world will judge of men and books, not from the Burnets, old Mixons, and Cooks. Soft were my numbers, who could take offense while pure description held the place of sense. Like gentle fannies was my flowery theme, a painted mistress, or a purling stream? Yet then did Gildan draw his venal quill. I wished the man a dinner, and sat still. Yet then did Dennis rave in furious fret. I never answered, I was not in debt. If want provoked, or madness made them print, I waged no war with Bedlam or the Mint. Did some more sober critic come abroad? If wrong, I smiled. If right, I kissed the rod. Pains, reading, study, are there just pretense? And all they want is spirit, taste, and sense. Commas and points they set exactly right. And 'twere a sin to rob them of their might. Yet near one sprig of laurel graced these ribalds, from slashing Bentley down to piddling Tybbalds. Each white, who reads not, and but scans and spells. Each word catcher, that lives on syllables. Even such small critics some regard may claim, preserved in Milton's or in Shakespeare's name. Pretty, in amber to observe the forms of hairs, or straws, or dirt, or grubs, or worms. The things, we know, are neither rich nor rare, but wonder how the devil they got there. Were others angry, I excused them too. Well might they rage, I gave them but their due. A man's true merit, 'tis not hard to find, but each man's secret standard in his mind, that casting weight pride adds to emptiness. This, who can gratify for who can guess? The bard whom pilfered pastorals renown, who turns a Persian tale for half a crown, just writes to make his barrenness appear, and strains from hard-bound brains 8 lines a year. He who, still wanting, though he lives on theft, steals much, spends little, yet has nothing left. And he who, now to sense, now nonsense leaning, means not, but blunders round about a meaning. And he, whose fustian's so sublimely bad, it is not poetry, but prose run mad. All these, my modest satire bade translate, and owned that 9 such poets made a Tate. How did they fume, and stamp, and roar, and chafe, and swear? Not Addison himself was safe. Peace to all such. But were there one whose fires true genius kindles, and fair fame inspires, blessed with each talent and each art to please, and born to write, converse, and live with ease? Should such a man, too fond to rule alone, bear, like the Turk, no brother near the throne, view him with scornful, yet with jealous eyes, and hate for arts that caused himself to rise? Damn with faint praise, assent with civil leer, and, without sneering, teach the rest to sneer, willing to wound, and yet afraid to strike, just hint a fault, and hesitate dislike, alike reserved to blame, or to commend, a timorous foe, and a suspicious friend, dreading e'en fools, by flatterers besieged, and so obliging, that he ne'er obliged, like Cato, give his little senate laws, and sit attentive to his own applause, while wits and templars every sentence raise, and wonder with a foolish face of praise, who but must laugh, if such a man there be? Who would not weep, if Atticus were he? What though my name stood rubric on the walls, or plastered posts, with claps, in capitals, or smoking forth 100 hawkers' load, on wings of winds came flying all abroad? I sought no homage from the race that right, I kept, like Asian monarchs, from their sight. Poems I heeded, now be rhymed so long, no more than thou, great George, a birthday song. I ne'er with wits or witlings pass my days, to spread about the itch of verse and praise. nor like a puppy, daggled through the town, to fetch and carry sing-song up and down, nor at rehearsals sweat, and mouthed, and cried, with handkerchief and orange at my side, but sick of fops, and poetry, and prate, to Buffo left the whole Castalian state, proud as Apollo on his forked hill, sat full-blown Buffo, puffed by every quill, fed with soft dedication all day long. Horace and he went hand in song. His library, where busts of poets dead and a true Pindar stood without a head, received of wits an undistinguished race, who first his judgment asked, and then a place. Much they extolled his pictures, much his seat, and flattered every day, and some days eat, till, grown more frugal in his riper days, he paid some bards with port, and some with praise. To some a dry rehearsal was assigned, and others, harder still, he paid in kind. Dryden alone, what wonder, came not nigh. Dryden alone escaped this judging eye. But still the great have kindness in reserve. He helped to bury whom he helped to starve. May some choice patron bless each grey goose quill. May every Bavius have his Buffo still. So when a statesman wants a day's defense, or envy holds a whole week's war with sense, or simple pride for flattery makes demands, may dunce by dunce be whistled off my hands. Blessed be the great, for those they take away, and those they left me, for they left me gay, left me to see neglected genius bloom, neglected die, and tell it on his tomb. Of all thy blameless life, the sole return my verse, and Queensberry weeping o'er thy urn. Oh, let me live my own, and die so too. To live and die is all I have to do. Maintain a poet's dignity and ease, and see what friends, and read what books I please, above a patron, though I condescend sometimes to call a minister my friend. I was not born for courts or great affairs. I pay my debts, believe, and say my prayers, can sleep without a poem in my head, nor know if Dennis be alive or dead. Why am I asked what next shall see the light? Heavens! Was I born for nothing but to write? Has life no joys for me? Or, to be grave, have I no friend to serve? No soul to save? I found him close with Swift indeed, no doubt, cries prating Balbus. Something will come out. 'Tis all in vain. Deny it as I will. No. Such a genius never can lie still. And then for mine obligingly mistakes the first lampoon Sir Will or Bubo makes. Poor guiltless I. And can I choose but smile, when every coxcomb knows me by my style? Cursed be the verse. How well soe'er it flow, that tends to make one worthy man my foe. Give virtue scandal, innocence a fear, or from the soft-eyed virgin steal a tear. But he who hurts a harmless neighbor's peace, insults fallen worth, or beauty in distress, who loves a lie, lame slander helps about, who writes a libel, or who copies out, that fop, whose pride affects a patron's name, yet, absent, wounds an author's honest fame, who can your merit selfishly approve, and show the sense of it without the love? Who has the vanity to call you friend, yet wants the honor, injured, to defend? Who tells waiter you think, waiter you say, and, if he lie not, must at least betray? Who to the dean and silver bell can swear, and seize at cannons what was never there? Who reads, but, with a lust to misapply, make satire a lampoon, and fiction, lie? A lash like mine no honest man shall dread, but all such babbling blockheads in his stead. Let Sporus tremble, what? That thing of silk, Sporus, that mere white curd of ass's milk. Satire or sense? Alas, can Sporus feel? Who breaks a butterfly upon a wheel? P. Yet let me flap this bug with gilded wings. This painted child of dirt, that stinks and stings, whose buzz the witty and the fair annoys. Yet wit near tastes, and beauty near enjoys. So well-bred spaniels civilly delight in mumbling of the game they dare not bite. Eternal smiles his emptiness betray, as shallow streams run dimpling all the way. Whether in florid impotence he speaks, and, as the prompter breathes, the puppet squeaks, or at the ear of Eve, familiar toad, half froth, half venom, spits himself abroad, in puns or politics, or tales, or lies, or spite, or smut, or rhymes, or blasphemies, his wit all seesaw. Between that and this, now high, now low, now master up, now miss, and he himself one vile antithesis, amphibious thing, that, acting either part, the trifling head, or the corrupted heart, fop at the toilet, flatterer at the board, now trips a lady, and now struts a lord. Eve's tempter thus the rabbins have expressed, a cherub's face, a reptile all the rest, beauty that shocks you, parts that none will trust, wit that can creep, and pride that licks the dust, not fortune's worshipper, nor fashion's fool, not lucre's madman, nor ambition's tool, not proud, nor servile, be one poet's praise, that, if he pleased by manly ways, that flattery, even to kings, he held a shame, and thought a lie in verse or prose the same, that not in fancy's maze he wandered long, but stooped to truth, and moralized his song, that not for fame, but virtue's better end, he stood the furious foe, the timid friend, the damning critic, half-approving wit, the coxcomb hit, or fearing to be hit, laughed at the loss of friends he never had, the dull, the proud, the wicked, and the mad, the distant threats of vengeance on his head, the blow unfelt, the tear he never shed, the tale revived, the lie so oft o'erthrown, imputed trash, and dullness not his own, the morals blackened when the writings scape, the libelled person, and the pictured shape, abuse, on all he loved, or loved him, spread, a friend in exile, or a father dead, the whisper that, to greatness still too near, perhaps yet vibrates on his sovereign's ear, welcome for thee, fair virtue, all the past, for thee, fair virtue, welcome even the last. A. But why insult the poor, affront the great? P. A knave's a knave, to me, in every state, alike my scorn, if he succeed or fail, Sporus at court, or Japhet in a jail, a hireling scribbler, or a hireling peer, knight of the post corrupt, or of the shire, if on a pillory, or near a throne, he gain his prince's ear, or lose his own, yet soft by nature, more a dupe than wit. Sappho can tell you how this man was bit. This dreaded satirist Dennis will confess foe to his pride, but friend to his distress. So humble, he has knocked at Tybalt's door, has drunk with Cibber, nay, has rhymed for more. Full 10 years slandered. Did he once reply? 3,000 sons went down on Welstead's lie. To please a mistress one ass burst his life. He lashed him not, but let her be his wife. Let Budgell charge low Grub Street on his quill, and right waiter he pleased, accept his will. Let the two curls of town and court abuse his father, mother, body, soul, and muse, Yet why that father held it for a rule. It was a sin to call our neighbor fool. That harmless mother thought no wife a whore. Hear this, and spare his family. James Moore. Unspotted names, and memorable long, if there be force in virtue, or in song, of gentle blood, part shared in honor's cause, while yet in Britain honor had applause. Each parent sprung A. What fortune? Pray, P. Their own, and better got than best years from the throne. Born to no pride, inheriting no strife, nor marrying discord in a noble wife. Stranger to civil and religious rage, the good man walked innoxious through his age. No courts he saw, no suits would ever try, nor dared an oath, nor hazarded a lie. Unlearned, he knew no schoolman's subtle art, no language but the language of the heart. By nature honest, by experience wise, healthy by temperance, and by exercise. His life, though long, to sickness passed unknown. His death was instant, and without a groan. Oh, grant me thus to live, and thus to die. Who sprung from kings shall know less joy than I. O friend, may each domestic bliss be thine. Be no unpleasing melancholy mine. Me, let the tender office long engage, to rock the cradle of reposing age. With lenient arts extend a mother's breath. Make languor smile, and smooth the bed of death. Explore the thought, explain the asking eye, and keep a while one parent from the sky. On cares like these if length of days attend, may heaven, to bless those days, preserve my friend, preserve him social, cheerful, and serene, and just as rich as when he served a queen. A. Whether that blessing be denied or given, thus far was right, the rest belongs to heaven.